Afternoon and greetings to all my listeners and viewers out there on the Primal 4K app, Fit FM 96.7, Facebook, YouTube. I'm your host, Dale. I want to welcome you all to Primal Sports Center.
And I'm Kane the Sharp Watson. And don't forget the whole world, we have listeners out there that we probably don't even know of, but we have to give thanks for them as usual, because without them, the show wouldn't be possible. And plus, we have people in the studio audience, cheering us on in the background. But yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, people, today's episode is brought to you by Simoes Organics, simoesorg.com. It's nutritional support which allows the body to heals itself. People, you should try this. It's a great product. It helps with inflammation, boosting of the immune system. It helps improvement of the digestive system, promotes better sleep, cleanse the blood, and
it's a natural product, because
other things.
You cannot even research CMOS, and it's good for you. I myself is trying to delve more into that healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
Cut off for the bag of meat and rice and bag of stuff.
So
but even so, once you keep it natural, CMOS is definitely a product.
In Jamaica, we know it as Irish
moss. Yeah.
So, some people out there might be wondering, what is CMOS? But it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, so people, so you can visit the website. It's CMOS. orgs.com. All right, that's SEAMOSSORGS.com. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, Ken.
Today's lineup, we have an interesting lineup.
Yes, well, we have the big man himself.
Keep on saying the big man. So much big man.
I was interviewing all of the big man, but for me, Rene,
I'm always on the show. Me, you talking about?
Professor.
Okay.
I'm talking about the professor that changed lives in Jamaica in terms of football.
One of my most memorable sporting moments, and it has nothing to do with me even participating or competing.
Yes.
Participating, but as a fan. But one of the biggest moments in Jamaican sports history was Jamaica qualifying for the World Cup, and one of the men responsible for that, one of the leaders out there, the technical director, as you said, the professor himself, was who
Professor Rene
spearheaded
Simoes.
everything. Rene Simoes, brought his philosophy to Jamaica, and today show we have a 50-minute interview.
Yes.
Probably with him to break
so that
down.
will come up in about the next 4 minutes from now. Mr. Simoes will join us here. And I tell you though, Ken, that Sunday afternoon when they qualified for the World Cup, I'm sure the crime and violence, everything stopped for one entire day.
We had public holiday after.
We had a public holiday.
Big up PJ Patterson for that.
But as you said, Ken, it was a special time in the history of Jamaica. And Rene Simoes was the man who started it all in terms of the structure and everything that he brought to football. And a lot of players became successful because of his structure. We see Ricardo Gardner, Ricardo Fuller, a lot of them went professional, for the first time. Well, we know in the
even before that, I'm keen to hear on how he grew up and where he started coaching. Because I'm sure Jamaica was in the first place he coached, and even the last place, because football with Brazilians, the whole world center around football, because that's their national sport. So he himself is just delightful to hear what we are going to hear from him about his upbringing and his philosophies and what he went through with the national team and what he's going on with right now. So to get in his mindset of what it went place to take us to the World Cup.
Yes, and they will give you the line down real quick. And after Rene Simoes, we'll have Fraser.
Randy Phillips first.
Randy Phillips first.
Coming
from the Davis Cup. He'll give us the update based on what happened in Lebanon.
What went wrong or what even so went right. I know it was a tough matchup, but want to hear from the Davis Cup team, and Randy Phillips will be on at the top of the hour.
Yes.
Yeah, and after that, sports commentary with the controversial boss. It's always a surprise to what he comes up with. And I hope no Shensia. I haven't heard about Shensia and popcorn in a while.
I was about to talk about the controversial boss there, because the past 2 weeks it's been a little bit kind of low key. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Kind of low key.
Yeah. So we're mollycoddling him.
Yes, I think it's
I think you need some CMOS to pep him up.
You just took some a while ago though.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll have a more chirpier segment
I know
later on in the show.
I know is what. In predictions been off a bit of late.
Okay.
From Adesanya lose and where somebody else lose. I'm like, Sean, it's just show him off a bit. So I think he's back in his predictive ways and his controversial ways. So we'll have him about 4:10 thereabouts local time. And after that we'll have Fraser McConnel fresh off his victory and he tell us all about his, what's going on with him. And I know he won some race the other day, which he'll break down for us after sports commentary. And after that, we'll have a tribute to one of our great national table tennis players who passed away recently, Courtney Wilson, 2-time national table tennis champion back in the 70s. So we'll have Peter and former dinosaurs, as we like to call them.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah, people who brought the sport to what it is now, you know. So they tell us about the sport back in the day, and I'm sure I grew up with these names. So we have to pay a tribute to greats like them, and want to hear from the likes of people who used to play with Courtney Wilson and tell us, what he meant to the sport, what he did, and we'll pay homage to his family as well. So that will be coming up in our time. 4:30 or hour and a half.
Yeah, I will. That's a segment that I will love to really.
Yeah, I'll sit back and listen to what is being said, because to hear from them, So to hear from them, it will be, just to show, because I don't know Courtney was in person, but I always hear the name, left hand guy from Baltimore Bay, and I like to hear these stories and connect the past with the present going out towards the future, because definitely one of the greats from back in the day. Yeah, from what I heard, so from everybody that is.
And what is so special about these, he had a set of them from Mobe who just came out of nowhere, apparently. Winston Cowens was from Kingston. He went to country and developed. Courtney Wilson, Ian Spencer, and a couple of them. So it will be very interesting to hear that story. How you come out of nowhere to win 2 back-to-back national titles. And that's not
a sort of an unknown,
Yes, as an unknown.
And history shows it's not easy to win back-to-back, no matter what the time.
Exactly.
So
very few people.
Very
few people. Was able to accomplish such feat. Yeah, man. So.
After that, we'll have Frog in 5, and then we'll wrap up the show. We have a lengthy show this week.
One second, Kane. Mr. Producer, I know the Irish must kind of have
kicking in.
It's kicking in.
It's not your segmented. Energy is high. It's not your segmented. We hear it in the background. Only
people, the man under the sea must are organics.
Yeah.
So that's why
full of
he's
energy.
so loud.
Yeah.
Even when it's not his time.
I was wondering why I'm moving around the table tennis board today, Yeah, like a fresh 20-year-old.
Yes.
I forget myself some of that CMS. Yeah, but yeah. So people, we're jumping right into it. So right now, we have our interview with the professor, the great Rene Simoes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now it is time to welcome to Primal Sports the former technical football director of the Reggae Boys. He was a man who was responsible, or should we say partly responsible?
Partly responsible.
For the Reggae Boys qualification in 1998 to the World Cup in France. So let us welcome to Primal Sports again, Mr. Rene Simoes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much to invite me. It's always a great pleasure to talk to Jamaicans and to also talk about our Jamaica time and our World Cup qualifications and the entire program. Always I feel a little bit sad because I don't have more Captain Burrell, but you have to remember him always.
Yes, of course. Captain was one of the integral
keys to building Jamaica football in the 90s onwards. But before we dive into our World Cup qualification, all of that, we just give us a quick background story of who Rene Simoes is growing up around Brazilian football. I mean, I'm sure every corner in Brazil there's football, but what was your story growing up in Brazil and how football became a part of your life?
Yeah, my life, the entire life, it's linked with football. My father was almost a professional football.
Yeah.
When he was under 23 team in Olaria, his father called him and said, "Hey, let's be a serious man. Get a job." Because football was not a profession that everybody looks. They think who plays football is not a very, very serious. It's 1950, little bit like that. So it's not look like now. But he he built me up and he said every time, you be a football player, you be a professional, you be a professional. So he would take me for everywhere to play football. And I was a professional in Olaria club. The club he dreamed to play, also playing Bom Sucesso. But when I get the university in Brazil, is very difficult in my time to be in the federal university. So I did a test and I was approved. After that, I decided I want to go to stop everything and stay university. So in 1973, I went to university and said, football it's okay for me. I don't want anymore. But after 6 months, I was in university and I start to feel some things wrong in my body, my mind. So I went to a doctor and I have a checkup. And the doctor said, listen, this is your mind, something's wrong. What is make you feel like you are depressed? And I discovered was football. I was missing football. So in 1974, I started coaching in 1974. So almost 49 years ago. And I started coaching and then I never stopped anymore. I started youth categories under 17, under 20. After I went to a professional club, I went to United Arab Emirates. Was the first time I worked abroad in Alucadzia club. We got a championship there. I came back to Brazil in 1985. I started working in Mesquita. I went to Portuguesa. I went to under 20 national team. I got a South America championship. I went for under 17 Brazilian national team. I was South America champion too. So I went to Portugal. I work in Vitória de Guimarães in Portugal. I come back to Brazil for national team again. I went to the World Cup at the 20s. I got a third place. For me, it's a good result, but for Brazilians, they look it's a third place.
Yeah,
what you
Brazil
did?
I always want to be on top.
But we couldn't be in top that time. I think I did some mistake in that time. I have to recognize. After I come back, I went for Bahia club. I went to Qatar. I worked in Doha, Qatar, from 89 to 94. So I come back in 94. So that's when the Brazilian government invite me to go to Jamaica. But this is always story is in the Champion of the Possible Dream is the book. I told for them, no, I don't want to go to Jamaica. Jamaica is nothing. Because in 1989, I was in Jamaica to play some friendly games. I play against Jamaica, I play against Cayman, and we're supposed to play in Trinidad and Tobago, but they canceled the game. So I spent 15 days in Jamaica. So I knew there is nothing football at that time.
Jamaica.
So when they invite me, I say, thank you very much. I don't want, but there is some people call it Captain Horace Burrell. And this guy came to Brazil, man, it's impossible. He never accepts a no as an answer.
Didn't take no as an answer. And I'm sure coming to Jamaica, I mean, it's a difference between football in Jamaica and football in Brazil. You're probably wondering how are you going to do this job?
There is an interesting story because Burtis Bell is the man he's a journalist, and he interviewed me and he asked me, So how you can do it? I said for him, I have a lot of job to do. My English was not perfect, it's still not perfect.
Yeah. Better than my Brazilian, for sure.
Yeah, they tease me about because it was a lot of work to do, not a job to do. But in the end of the story, I create a lot of jobs also in Jamaica with the 1998 road to France.
Yeah. Yes. So tell us, it started in '94, and then that period from '94 to '98, we were qualified for World Cup. I mean, tell us a bit of the journey, and we know the end result where we qualified for the World Cup. But tell us the journey, and even during the journey, you had doubts of us getting to the World Cup.
Yeah, I told the captain he had some points they supposed to do it to qualify, and he gets a house to hold the players, accommodate the players together. Because before, the information I had was that some players that play outside of Jamaica, when they come, they stay in five-star hotel. And the Jamaican players, they stay in 3 or 2-star hotel. So I said, that's impossible. You don't build a team when they treat them in different way. So we rent a house. I told him they supposed to get a sponsorship by equipment company. We got Lanzida. We had to get airline company, because I told him, if you don't travel around the world with this team, you don't get exposure, international exposure for players, they not be willing to qualify to World Cup. So we travel around the world. We went to 28 different countries, and some countries we went more than 2 times. You have to get a foot. So Grace Kennedy was signed with us. We had to convince the government to pay the salaries, everything. And you have to come to Brazil. So in 1995, we came to Brazil and play some games here. That was, I think, the most important point was come to Brazil the first time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So.
No, continue about Brazil. Continue.
Yeah, and came to Brazil. We play many games here. Was 18 games, and in 17 games we lost by 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, and we start.
Okay, so Rene, so what was so important about being in Brazil?
To understand the philosophy, to understand what the life is. I remember one game we are playing, and you has a drums, people shout, a lot of noise, and one player come to me and say, "Coach, this is disturbing me. There is a lot of noise on the bridge and the standards." I say, "Hey man, this is the way football play around the world." That was not in Jamaica. Jamaica, they cheering for football as they cheer for cricket, for tennis. They wait after they make reactions. In Brazil now, they play. They put pressure. They put the pressure against the opponents. They boo referees, everything. So it's amazing because they feel the atmosphere is completely different, and you have to be focused on the game, no outside. I think that was the most important they start getting. It's my focus is on field, not out the field. of the field. So it's important. Also, they control the ball control. The ball is the most important part of the game. If I have the ball, I can beat you. But if you have the ball, you can beat me. So keep the ball possession. And in our scouting, we find that we gave 120 passes in the game, but only 30% of the pass was complete. Imagine you have 36 completed passes to win a game. So the result was 5-0, 6-0, 7-0. So that was one point very important that you're supposed to work with them. So when you draw against the United States, we gave 600 passes with 80% completed. So was a transformation that make the game different.
Keep the ball.
All right, I remember watching back in the days. We went to Mexico, right, and we had an experience and a feel in Mexico. Tell us a little bit about how you managed that situation.
You say about the fighting?
yes, because I was a young boy. I was watching it and I was shocked to see what was happening.
It's surprised what he remembers.
Yes, because it was very surprising. It's the first to actually see something like that happening on a pitch. So tell us about how you guys managed that issue that occurred in Mexico.
This was the final round, the round of 6. Because in the first round, we went to Mexico too, because when I saw my plans, the first 4, if you remember, was Mexico, Honduras, Jamaica, and St. Vincent. So I sat and say, okay, Mexico, you beat everybody. So Mexico, we qualify on first place. So if I want to qualify, I have to beat Honduras in my home and draw with them in their home. So everybody will beat St. Vincent. This is what happened. Everybody beat them. In my appointment, my mind, so when Honduras, what we did 3-0 in the first game. So I said, we need to do a good game in Mexico against them, and after play against Honduras. What we did, we lost 2-1 with a beautiful score on Walter Boyd's, and we completely stopped the fans in the stage in the final. 15 minutes, nobody from Jamaica do anything because we keep control the game. Almost you tied the game. You went to Honduras and you tied with them. So the experience to stay 12 days in Mexico was very positive. So when coming the final round of 6, I said, let's do exactly the same. So we spent there 12 days and we played the first game. We lost 4-2 against Toluca. I was very upset for the behavior of my team. And we went for second game against Toros Neza. And this game, we have agreement. No spectators, no press, lock the gates. So when you arrive to play the game, was 6 big cameras around the fields, behind the goals and the sideline, and was more than 200 people there to watch the game. So I told the guy, we will not play the game. The guy said, no, this is the employer, because that was our football fields. They allowed us to practice every day. So if you don't play the game, so you don't have any more the football fields. I say, okay, let's play. So they have two Argentinians as a defenders, when Chilean as strikers, and the another South American players. So, but my team was lost the previous game against Toluca 4-2, and I kicked them. I was so upset. So we start this game in very good way. In few minutes, we score 1-0. With 10 minutes, you have a penalty kick for us. The referee don't give to us. And we are playing against the team was the top of the league in that moment, Toros Nessa. So the Argentina starts play hard, very hard. And you know Jamaicans, you are Jamaicans. So don't try beat you guys.
No, we know.
That I am strong. My goodness.
Yeah, we play hard too. Yeah.
This most Steve Malcolm, this guy, man, the guy kick him. The next he fly against the guy. So the fight was unbelievable. So everybody. So I thank God because I don't hit anybody. Only they hit me because I start go in the middle and put my chin back, but somebody come behind me and hit my neck. I fall down. When I try stand, the Argentina strong guy hit my chest. I fall down again. So thanks, because that's all footage went to FIFA. I supposed to be banned. And we stay in hotel, and you couldn't, during 8 days, you couldn't go on the streets. You have no football field to practice. You have a small site of, I think that was 40 meters by 20 meters to practice every day. So when you play the game, you lost 6-0. So the mental balance of my team was complete down. And if you want to know, I think the behavior of Captain Burrell, Minister Portia Sips, Horace Reed, and the Horace Daly, I never saw a man in charge of the federations take a behavior like them. They wait the team in the hotel and they praise everybody. They cheer with everybody. Don't look as you lost the game by 6-0. It's unbelievable. So they gave you so confidence, man. It's unbelievable. I think you have to praise them.
Yeah. Well, you did 2 stints with the Reggae Boys, because after that you took a break and you came back. Compare the two stints. The first time you came and then the second time you came, and the differences.
I didn't understand what you said.
So, you coached Jamaica team twice, because the first instance you came, and the second instance you came back. Compare the first time around with the second time around, and the differences.
The difference is the first one, I had the time to build a squad. The second one, I came, start playing. We don't have the time to build. We start to play.
Different players.
The time was very short, and I think if you ask me what the different thing in the second time you could do, I think I will put Theodore Whitmore to play. Because Theodore told me, I don't know if I still play or if I can be a coach. As I like him and think him very clever, I say, come on, keep jumped on board my team, coaching staff. But I think that time we needed him. He was the leader we didn't have that time. Yeah. If you had him, I think the result could be different.
Yeah. And I can see that you have a relationship with the players back then. Do you still have a relationship with some of the players from back then? Probably Anandelo or Walter Boyd? I don't.
Yeah, well, I went a month ago in Jamaica. Was excellent. I played with them, the Walter Boyd, and I took the juniors number 10, and he arrived and said, "Coach, number 10 is mine. Take another one." So he went for the other team because he's supposed to play with me, but was excellent. John Burton, Paul Hall, Dixon, Theodore, all of them, we have a good relationship.
Yeah. Yes, Walter was on the show maybe a couple of months ago, Walter Boyd. Yes, and he spoke about his interaction with you long after the whole Reggae Boy setup. And he said, boy, Mushi, he would have done some things differently during his time, because you were the one who was trying to guide him and give him good advice.
He was
of his career.
He was an incredible player.
Yeah.
His skill is. I remember we played 2 games against Zambia. 2 games in Jamaica and 2 games we played in Zambia. What this boy did, man, and the goal he scored against Mexico in Mexico. He was really, but in that time, his mentality about the life and the professional life is not what's supposed to be. I try really to bring him on the right track, and amazing, because between me and him, the relationship was very, very, very good. Very good, always was. But we break the camp. He went for his community. When he come back, he come a little bit different. The conception he has to interact with the team. I remember once we fight national team, he was playing in Arnett's Garden in that time, because he was in the United States, and with the project Adopt a Player, I brought him, and I got the highest salary for the entire squad. He got $5,000 monthly. The bank paid for him. So he got more salary in Jamaica than he received in the United States. I knew that. I knew his salary. But I went for the bank with the bankers and said for them, listen, the guy deserves it. This is not too much for you, but this was a lot of money in Jamaica. I know that. The majority of the players, they received $1,000, and everybody was happy because it was a good money. Imagine 5,000. So every time I try to convince him, boys, listen, man, you have to be a professional. You have to develop your team work for everybody, because if you think you can play as you do every time by yourself, that's good for who watch the game, but it's not enough to qualify the Jamaican team. That was the point.
Professor, my information is that you have written a book about football. Tell us about your book.
The book is the champion of the impossible dream, Reggae Boys 1998. They are in Jamaica now. The book is there with the editor, Jan. And today he wrote Nevin Refill, the drinks company.
Rene Neville.
Yes. Rene Neville. Yeah. They sponsor they come on board for good sponsorship. Today I was reading an email sent to me. So it'll be a wonderful book, because you will have a chance to know and read everybody the way we construct to build the campaign. So the secret is you don't know now. You know.
Get the book
and Professor, the book is available also in the United States, because many of our viewers are in the USA.
They will. Now they are in Jamaica, and they are discussing the best time to launch the book.
Oh, it's not launched yet.
I think you'll be in the beginning of 24, because you'll be a very Ray and nephew. You'll be a great campaign about football for everything. So they want to introduce the book, and you'll be incredible, because
of course.
All right.
If you are a businessman, if you are teacher, if you are father, so you have a good way to do things through that book.
Yes. All right. So do you still follow the Jamaican football?
Yeah, a little bit, not too much, because I work here in Brazil.
Okay.
I work here in Brazil. We have one big company. We have a big company called Zinzani, and they create a football team, and they invite me to be a head coach. So it's now 2 years. It's a baby. This team is a baby, and the owner, he didn't want to do what the others, as Botafogo. Botafogo now is a SAF, is a Cruzeiro is a SAF. So he couldn't buy a big club. He said, no, I want to start by the beginning. So we start with under 20. We got a championship. We went for the Series C in Rio de Janeiro. We got a champion too, and we start last Sunday, CB2. We beat the opponent by 5-1, and Sunday we have the second game for this competition.
Okay.
So you're still in coaching, still around the sport.
Yeah,
active.
This is my life.
So you'd have grown up seeing Pele play, right? Pele, Maradona, and now you're seeing Messi. Now tell us a little bit about the three in your as a football genius.
There is a very good story about Pelé, because somebody went for Pelé and say, hey, who is the biggest player in the world? You and I forget another name. The guy played Real Madrid. No. They play in Real Madrid. Di Stefano, Maradona, Messi. He said, first got in Argentina and asked them who is the best one. After they decide who is the best one, he come and talk to me. Because it's impossible to compare with Pelé. But we have to recognize that Di Stefano was a good player, a great Maradona. Messi is something amazing, but I'm sorry, they cannot compare with Pelé. I imagine Pelé play the kind of football field you have today. The material equipment, the shoes, the jersey, the ball they play, it's unbelievable. No, there is no way to compare. No, it's not. It's not because I'm Brazilian. It's not only because
surely not.
He was. No. I have some good players. Zidane for me was some true. If you get Van Basten, Ronaldo was
Yeah, phenomenon.
Was incredible to phenomenal. Yeah. But Pelé, forget it. It's ET. Pelé is a ET. Is extra.
Out of this world. Out of this world.
Yeah.
Okay, coach. Okay,
All right. Before you go, I would just always have this discussion about Jamaican play. Who you thought that was the best footballer you ever seen wearing the Jamaican colors?
Walter Boyd.
Without a doubt.
More completely, Theodore Whitmore.
Yeah.
Yes. Because Theodore Whitmore, they have skill, they have ability, and they have a mentality of how we play a football team.
Yeah.
The team spirit he had, so Boyd didn't have. So, but about the quality, Boyd we can compare for the facility he has to do things like a Neymar. I think he is like a Neymar.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, before I have another question again. One of my favorite players. I always wonder why you didn't give him more opportunities on the field. Dean Sewell, one of my favorites. But I never see you play, man. I always wonder why Renee. I was cussing you still behind my TV. Why Simoes not playing Dean Sewell? So tell me a little about Dean Sewell as a footballer, because a lot of people didn't get the chance to really watch this guy play.
Yeah, there is some players they are very good, but there is some players they have extra. Yes. Ricardo Gardner.
Yeah.
So where he played, where Dean Sewell played, Ricardo Gardner. I saw once he played in Harborville. He was 15 or 16 years old. I watched that guy and say, extra miles there. This guy will be. His mother come to me and said, Coach, I need your help. I say, okay, go ahead. My son has an invitation to do the high school in the United States. What do you think? I would say, thanks God. You were asking me. Thanks God. Ricardo Gardner didn't born to be a doctor, engineer, teacher. He born to be a football player.
Yes.
And he has the extra is request for players. So please don't send him to the United States. Allow him to stay here. So what a good decision.
Yes.
What a good decision.
Yeah.
There is another mother. I don't want to tell the name of the player. He came to me and said, Coach, my son has an invitation to go to university, and he is going to university. I said, okay. You will not say anything more? You don't ask me. You are informing me. Okay.
Yeah.
If you decide, he went there. He didn't pass in any subject university. After 1 year, the guy returned to my team and he lost 1 year. At least he lost to 8 international games with the national team to improve. And this guy could be much better than he was. But he lost 1 year.
1 year, yeah.
So this is I find in Jamaica. This is I find in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
That's good. You put the education of the boys, in the first place. But first, look what the boy born for. They born to be a football player. And I tell you, in Trinidad Tobago, one father come to me and say, my son has an invitation to go for high school in the United States. What do you think? Quickly send him to high school. He said, why? Because you like football. He doesn't like football. You, father, you want him to be a football player, but he doesn't want. He wants to be, this guy's an engineer.
Yeah.
So
you have to know what you're born to do and what your skill sets are.
Yes.
Some people are just born with that talent to be around football.
The boy don't have to be what the father wants. They have to be what they are willing to be.
I agree totally.
Yes, so you did a little thing there in Trinidad. You did what? How many years in Trinidad?
I took the team was in 2000, in the end of the qualification for 2002 World Cup. The team couldn't qualify anymore. I took over and I started to prepare the team for 2006 in Germany. And it was working very well. But the government changed. The prime minister lost the majority. And they changed the prime minister. And the prime minister and Jack Warren, they are enemies. And the guy say, I will not give anything for Football Federation. So the Minister of Sport called me in his office and said, Coach, let's discuss here football. We discussed. He understood what I was doing, and he said, I want you stay. I want you stay. And I say, yes, for me, it's okay, but I have to talk to Jack Warner because he was the man to bring me brought me to Trinidad and Tobago. And if he agree that I will stay, no problem. But Jack Warner said for me, no, I don't agree. So I say, bye-bye. So I come back to Brazil. Imagine it, Jack Warner was the president of CONCACAF. Do you think if I disagree with him and play with Trinidad and Tobago,
that would be disastrous. That would be
chance? No chance.
No chance. Yeah.
All right, your most memorable moment. As a coach.
I was 16 November 1996, 97. The day we draw against
Mexico.
Sunday afternoon.
Qualified.
I was in the stadium as an 11-year-old kid.
I too.
And it's amazing because usually I spend hour and a half to leave the stadium because was interview, everything. My family always was there. And that's the point. My family never follow my games. Around the world, in Brazil, never. I didn't allow them to go stage, stay at home. Don't involve yourself because I know that the coach's life is very difficult. One day win, one day people is happy with you, another day they want to kill you. So I didn't want my family in this atmosphere. But Captain Burrell, the first game we play against the United States in 1994, he said, this is the royal box for your family. I said, no, my family don't watch my games. He said, no, coach, but here in Jamaica it's impossible. People will think they don't give value for your work with Jamaica. You'll be a disrespected man. You have your family. I said, thank God. So my young daughter, I had 3 daughters. A young daughter went to my wife in Royal Box, but the 2 others, they are teenagers at that time, said, no, Daddy, Royal Box, no. You want to go in the standards? I said, okay, I will change the tickets. So they are there. And that day, 30 minutes, I couldn't leave because nobody wanted to leave the stadium. So the streets was good to drive. And I changed the way I had to go for my house. And I told for my family, I want to go for the poor sides of the Kingston to see the people. It was amazing. Amazing. Because the people
I remember that day.
People want to come inside my car. It was really memorable day for me.
Yeah, that's one of my most memorable days in Jamaica.
Yeah,
you weren't the coach.
And I was the coach. I can imagine you. I was there as an 11-year-old kid in the stadium. And it was
11 years?
11-year-old with my family. And I went on the field. I have the net at home. I have to cut off a piece of the net and carry it home. But then it was different. But it was remarkable.
Yeah. What was amazing was the high society. Because football, when you arrive, was not for good people. Football in Jamaica for the
high society
people, not for high society.
Everybody.
Yes, I think that you have changed the culture of football in Jamaica. You really did. You really did during that period.
Yeah.
And I asked you about if you still watch now, and we're kind of suffering a little bit now, trying to maybe with your book. So just tell us about your book again. Maybe if the coach now that is reading your book and him can see the blueprint as to how about going
the players you have now.
Road.
The players you have now need to read that book. So
yes.
The point is, we have to build master minds. This is the way I always think. I have a team. And the team you want too much, but who watch you is not in the same vibe. So what we did there is bring the country. So when you arrive in Jamaica, the federation's office was in the arena where you play netball. So I went there, that small room. I come out and say, Captain Brown, I will not stay in this room. Why? Why, coach? This is football federation. Why you not come here? I say, because no politicians, no businessman,
he's gonna come here.
Any guy, you come here to meet me. No, I have to meet everybody. So getting me an office, very good office.
Yeah,
say,
truly.
How you do that? I say, the same way you did when I told you I didn't want to come to Jamaica. You don't accept no. So, get an office. So Michael da Costa, my big little Mike, he passed away, I think, 3 years ago. And he gave me an office in his company, a big one. So Horace Reed was my second man. Say, Horace, come, let's work together. Forget this one here. This is not a place for a football. So this was one point. The second point, we start planning breakfast for business companies and show them the projects. Road to France 1998. When you went for a company, I remember Air Jamaica, I took 2 books and I wrote about the Butch Stewart, another one passed away, about his life. Butch Stewart started selling air conditioning. So after he got the first sandals, the second one was and he was in charge of Air Jamaica. I say, let me study the life of this man. And I know he is very willing to Jamaica society. I say, that's the man we give you as a big sponsorship for Air Jamaica. So, but the day you have a meeting with him was a hurricane in Antigua and destroy a part hurricane in in Antigua and destroy a part of Sandals. So he traveled, was his assistant meet me and Captain Brown. And we explained the project and say, how much do you want? I didn't tell him, but Captain told him, we need a 4 million US dollars.
Yeah.
I put my hand, I say, listen, the guy will kill us. So the guy finished the meeting that time. Who will give 4 million US dollars for football? Nobody that time. So after the meeting, I said, Captain, me and you, we make a big mistake. Never again it will happen. We not prepare ourselves for the meeting. You have to establish a strategy. So what I will say, what you say, because what you did, what I did, coach, I asked them how much I need. No, football don't ask money. Football offer opportunity. It's a difference.
Yes.
So, Captain, it's amazing. After a few times, he met Mrs. Francis Sinclair, I think, from American Airlines. And now he was prepared. So the lady asked, how much? He said, how much do you think? How much do you think?
He learned his lesson.
Was good because in that time Air Jamaica was growing. And what happened with American Airlines? He needs something to say for Jamaicans, hey, I am your air company, airline company. So he said, if I give you 4 million US dollars, amazing, cara. It is a God. God works.
Yes.
If I give you 4 million US dollar, is good? Maybe. He said, but I will do better. What I will do? I will give you 4 million US dollars and they will charge you 25% of the full tickets. So this means he gave you 16 million US dollars, not 4 million. So if a ticket to Brazil costs $1,000, he charged us $250 to deduce from this 4 million. Why? So
remarkable.
Under 17, under 20, everybody travel around the world. Around the world. It's not by coincidence. We qualify under 17 through 1999 World Cup in New Zealand. Under 20 was in 1999 in Argentina, but it was transferred for 2000 under 20. We qualify the first team for France. And by one goal, we didn't qualify to Olympic Games. Costa Rica, in goal average, they have one goal more than us. So why? Because the same time you do the same project was interesting. And this is what I think everybody has to understand, how we are doing. The project in Jamaica is connected now. The under 23 is work, and they are thinking about next 2 or 3 World Cup. If I put a project long term, the under 23 has to start now and think to building at this under 23, because what I am seeing now, many players born out of Jamaica, they are brought to squad. That's okay. I have no problem with that. But what about the players born in Jamaica? They have the same DNA to play football. So why they born abroad, they start because they start practice in big clubs, and they have to face big competitions, and if you don't have a competition, good competition with this age in Jamaica, you don't develop the players. Yes. Only the superstar, you'll be there.
Yeah. Yes. Well, Rene Simoes, Professor, it was a pleasure. You know, we're out of time. I think we went over time. I know you have a lot more to say as well, and we have a lot more questions to ask. But I want to thank you for sharing your time and also your life story with us here at Primal Sports.
Yeah, I learned a lot. I know it's great to hear the stories from, Pele days coming straight up to where you're at now, still doing your thing in Brazil coaching.
Yeah, he come and give me a medal. The government give me a medal. It's a Commander of Rio Branco. I am the only football coach in Brazil has this medal.
Nice.
All other coaches, they get the sportive merits. But I got one very special medal for what I did in Jamaica. I'm so grateful to Jamaica.
Yeah. Well, Professor, personally, I want to thank you for coming on Primal Sports. And I must also thank your good friend Carl Brown for putting us together.
Yeah.
And for making it happen. So we will maintain the contact.
Definitely, yes. Have a good time and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Same to you and your family. Thank you, Rene Simoes.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, that was the Professor Rene Simoes, the great man.
Finishing off there, telling
us a lot of memories as youngsters.
Telling us what he's doing now, getting a special medal out of Brazil.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, so lovely interview with the professor there. But let us remind the people that today's episode is sponsored by Simoes Organics. I know if you want to go and find it, search for it on the web, is cmosorgs.com. All right. Yeah. Good for your immune system, lower inflammation. I'm a health man as well.
Yeah, all that COVID going on and cold and whatever them telling you, Simoes can help you build up that immune system.
And as you know, Simoes is known as the Irish mash. So go and get it, guys. Go and get it. All right. So now we have Randy Phillips. He just returned from Lebanon. We had a Davis Cup
trying to get into Group 1, advance from Group 1, but we lost to Lebanon. Right now we have one of the team members that represent us well down there in Lebanon in that fierce environment. Didn't went our way, but yet still we are proud of them. They went out there and represented us fully. But we want to hear more of what went on in terms of preparation and in play and on what's next. So right now we have online Randy Phillips from Team Jamaica, Tennis Jamaica, that is.
Welcome.
Hi guys. How's it going?
Good on our end. How things on your end?
I'm good. Yeah, can't complain. Obviously, wish things had gone a bit different. It wasn't an ideal result for us, but it's a good team, and against very good teams, you have to come with your best. And we weren't able to play our best on the day for different reasons, but we still have to make sure we keep improving so that we're prepared to compete against all these teams.
Yeah, I saw that the scoreline, especially in the first set, for both you and Blaze, it was close.
Yeah.
In the first set, and then again you said you guys had some issues in terms of, we heard that some kind of food poisoning and so forth. So did that really affect your play?
Yeah. So I don't want to make an excuse. There's obviously can't say it's just one thing. We could have been better in several areas, but it did play a role, I would say. It's hard to go out there and play when you're low on energy. Middle of the day, it's very hot there. We needed full energy in that environment. You have to be able to you have to really give a lot. And so it's hard to go out there without not feeling 100% and play your best tennis. We did a good job, especially starting out, as we always do. We know our level is good. We know we're very good players. It's just that as it continues and prolongs, that's when you start to feel it more. If you're starting out not at 100. So it was very unfortunate. I would love to get another opportunity to play that team or a team like that again, because based on the tennis and based on our ability, I didn't see many differences.
Yes,
there's differences based on the rankings, but to me that was it. Based on the level of play, our ability, we were quite even. So would love to get an opportunity like that. It's just unfortunate the way this one played out.
So tell us some of the disadvantages or mishaps you guys faced leading up to the match. Some of the stuff that went on, so the public can know, or the things you can share that other people can learn from your experience going into the match, why you guys were low on energy and the hardships you faced before the battle actually started.
So you mean more in terms of like the preparation going into,
or even in Lebanon, or why you guys were low on energy, or the humidity?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard at this point. We know what we're doing. We know what we need to do to be prepared. So it's typically pretty rigorous. I would say about 5-6 days out, it's more rigorous. And then as you get closer to the tie, obviously you want to have fresh legs going in. So, the day before is really much lighter. And then, 2 days before we still practice hard. But, so yeah, I mean, we had CP out there with us to train on. Mel's always on court with us. We were doing 2 sessions a day, typical day, 10 to 12 practice. Then we would do our, little fitness, maybe 30 minutes, and then back out on court again at 2 or 2:30, just to work on little things. If you wanted to work on something else further, adjusting to the time change, the jet lag was not an issue, but it took some time, so you want to be there a few days in advance. We had the opportunity to do that, and I would say by the time the tie came around, we were fully adjusted.
Okay. All right. Well, based on the news coming out of Lebanon, you guys had food poisoning. Right? I know you said you don't want to make that an excuse, but do you guys have provision in terms of carrying a chef? You guys don't travel with your own personal chef. You're going into a country. I'm sure they don't want you to qualify. They don't want you to beat their team. You're in a hotel and these guys know that this is a Jamaican team and these are the same people that's feeding you. So this is kind of a new thing that's happening. So I guess, as Kane said, you can learn from this. So moving forward, is it that you guys going to have your own chef traveling with you and prepare your own meals and stuff? As you get deeper and deeper, I remember the flu game with MJ, and a lot of people had all kind of stories about the flu game. The poisoning, the food poisoning, and from there on, MJ didn't eat again from outside. So I'm wondering if Tennis Jamaica, if you guys gonna provide your own chef.
So like you want to go and cook for the team?
Well, but it's a real thing doing it. You're going to these countries, you know that them people want to win, and you're eating from them. I don't think that's such a wise decision, So maybe the president and the GenSec, which is our friend, can provide a traveling chef.
So like you want to take some cooking lessons?
Yeah. I mean, I like the sound of that. It sounds great. I mean, we might need a few more donations to bring a chef, but or maybe we might have to take some cooking class. But I mean, it's a good idea. It is something to look at going forward. I think we can just learn from this lesson and be a little bit more wary of, where we go, what we eat, keep it pretty basic, especially the day or night leading up to matches. So we can, there's certain foods, no matter where you are universally, that naga siki, so just have to be, play it a little bit on the safer side and be more careful and wary of, small things like this that can make such a big difference. So
okay.
The chef would be nice. I mean,
of course,
maybe you can talk to the president about that one, but
you talk to the GenSec.
See what you can do. Come, wouldn't mind a chef.
You guys eat some rice and peas on a Sunday before.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you guys are elite now, man. We need that professionalism within the camp, man. Of course.
So you guys were at least
true,
one
that's
step
true.
closer going to Group 1. Now you have a tie against Barbados in Jamaica to ensure that you stay up in Group 2. When is that match again?
It is. When is that match?
Yeah, when is that match scheduled to play? I hear you guys going to
That
play
match is going to be in
Barbados.
February. I think it's going to be the first week or first weekend in February.
Okay, and we play Barbados to stay up in Group 2.
Play Barbados to stay up in Group 2.
Okay, so tell us, you're supposed to have history of the Barbados team, or know some of the Barbados
Yeah, I
team.
mean, we know those guys very well. As a fellow Caribbean country that excels in tennis, we get a lot of opportunities to see those guys at tournaments, train with them, play against them. You know, we even had some of the players come for the King Alarm Cup last December.
Yes.
They're a good team, but you know, obviously we're good friends off the court. When it comes to business, it's business time. They're very good. We are. I mean, I like our chances in that match. We're very strong. We're a little bit more even than they are in terms of having more depth in the team. They have some good players. You know, they have Darian. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of all of us on the team. He's a very good player, but they sort of he carries the team. And now both Blaze and I are playing at the level where we can not only just compete with him, we can beat him. And then their second player is a little bit weaker, so we should have the advantage there in both matches. So it's obviously another tough match. Every Group 2 match is tough. They've been in Group 2 a little bit longer than we have, so they have experience in that regard. But I see us having a very, very good opportunity there to stay up, especially having it here at home.
Yeah, here at home. So that we're looking forward to that in February at the Eric Bell Tennis Center. That should be.
And I heard that court was designed for you guys. the Eric Bell.
We have home court advantage.
It certainly felt like it last time we played there.
But the thing is, Bajans like Jamaican food, so I don't think the food will give them any much problem.
No, I don't think the food will bother them. It'll certainly be a good match, and I'm looking forward to it.
We will be looking forward to it, and I mean, congrats on going out there and doing best, representing the country. We didn't get the result, but you're champions in our eyes nonetheless, and to go all the way in Lebanon and go against a tough team. And
well done on reaching.
Well done to you guys. And I mean, February, you know, we take it home. So you have our support here, and I'm sure Jamaica will be behind you as well.
All right. All the best, Randy.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks, Randy. Big up.
Thank you, guys.
So that was Randy Phillips, member of Team Jamaica, one of the top tennis players out of Jamaica there, representing us in the Davis Cup a couple of weeks ago.
Well, you know, I smell a rat, even though Randy won't admit it, but I feel like them give them some Lebanese food. Some kibbeh and some meshi. And you ever eat Lebanese food? But not the most digestible food.
I like Lebanese food, though.
Yeah, but I think the president was there now. The president even said he was going to speak in Arabic.
Yeah.
Our Jamaica president was there, you know?
Yeah,
and he had on a green jacket, and they were well received, you know, but also fed by the Lebanese. Yeah. So I feel that I'm very suspicious of these things.
Yeah. Of course.
I went to Cuba the other day, Caribbean Championship a couple years ago, and G.D. Lewis he brought corned beef into Cuba and sardine and all these kind of things. I don't know. They probably don't trust the Cuban food.
Yes. So, some of us had a warm time there.
And not all of us travel well, you know.
Yes.
Some of us have iron bellies, though.
No, but I'm sure people like Mr. Blaze and those guys, they're used to steak and potatoes in Jamaica. and Randy probably used to having his jerk chicken and his curry goat. Yeah. They don't have that in Lebanon. Lebanon have kibbeh and meshi and one bag of things.
Yes.
And it's heading straight to the toilet.
That goes to show you that when you go to these countries and play, you don't even play only on the court. You have to be careful off the court as well, because once you reach it, it's all a game. You know?
So your advice to these players is either carry a chef or carry extra toilet paper.
Get your cooking lesson.
A chef.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Sports commentary like it's
I'll start the commentary, of course.
It's your time already. Time for sports commentary.
Time for sports commentary.
Greetings, people and people. Sports commentary time. Last weekend, I saw a great UFC fight. But it wasn't one of the big UFC fights. It was just one of these little, fight night fights. But Alexa, what's her name? Valentina Shevchenko, trying to win back her title against the girl, Alexa Grasso, who beat her. And let me tell you something. The fight was adjudicated to be a split draw. Now, you guys don't know what a split draw is. A draw is when you give me the fight, I give the other person the fight, and then the third judge calls it a draw. It's a very unique set of circumstances. And I watched the fight. It was very even. But the fight ended with Alexa on her back trying to defend a choke from, Valentina on her back trying to defend a choke. And you're never going to win a fight in the last round almost choked out. You know what I mean? And so it was judged a draw. I think it was a very lucky draw for both sides, but it was a fair result, even though it was an unusual result. The next big fight that's coming up, though, is very interesting to me. Oliveira is going to have a rematch with Makhachev, and that's about a month's time. I don't see anything. I've been studying what the fighters have been doing with their techniques and so on. I don't see anything new, and it tells me that we're going to see the same fight again. I think that the fight is going to end up exactly the same with Oliveira being choked out by Makhachev. No, I'm a big Oliveira fan. But as you guys know, I'm not just a big Oliveira fan. I'm a UFC fan. I'm a trained martial artist. My jiu-jitsu goes to a high level. And I'm able to tell you that I don't see any changes that are going to change the result. Something else I'm also an expert on. Reggae Girls played last night. And I thought they played diabolical. I think they deserved the Tula from Canada. I think they could have had a worse beating, regardless of what Dale Parham says. I think that Reggae Girls didn't show me that they were able to get the ball out of their own half. It was embarrassing. I know it's women's football, but there's a other half up the side. Canada ran amok on us. And I question myself, Bunny Shaw, is she actually the super footballer she's slated to be? Because Bunny Shaw spends most of her time out of possession of the ball. She very rarely gets a chance to run. I counted 4 touches in the second half. I don't know how many in the first half. I joined after 10 minutes. But I need to... Bunny Shaw actually scored a goal for Jamaica in the last 6 or 7 matches, Dale. I think the answer is no. We need to find a way to integrate Bunny Shaw into the Reggae Girls team. And while I'm at it, I'm still complaining. Why does the goalkeeper hold the ball so long? Every time the ball is kicked to our goalkeeper, she grabs it, she runs with it, and then she stops, and then she takes forever to distribute the ball. The modern role for goalkeepers is, as you get the ball, start the counter-attack, reinitiate the counter-attack. What's the name of the coach? Donaldson? Mm-hmm. He's who coaching nowadays. I need to give him a call. Yeah. Because I'm telling you that the goalkeeper, as nice as she may seem, needs to distribute the ball. Now, talking about looking nice, I'm in a bad mood today. Diamond League final. Why? My brother, Joel Moyoung, in high school, used to have a big afro. The afro was like Michael Jackson, or even the Silvers. You guys don't know the Silvers, but Michael Jackson. Joel had a huge fro. And I tried to grow a little baby fro, but my hair was straight, right? But one thing I can tell you, Shakari, running Diamond League final, have a big old head of soul. You saw the soul she tried to run with? And I think that soul hold her back. Because there's no way Shakari, nobody with that big soul going to run past me. Certainly. And so Shakari, she need to forget that she's not Angela Davis. She's not Janet Jackson with this big old afro trying to run Diamond League. I think your hair need to burn up when you're running 100 meter. Sorry, I don't want to go too far, but there's a song I was paying the attention to. This song, I was paying attention to the lyrics the other day. Watch your own mouth, Kiba, can't stop who, singer, me a bad man killer. Some move, some rock, some sip me liquor. Move your youth, Kiba. Girl draws drop quicker. Make a dance couple times, girl take me picture. I bet me do opinion. Drift, drift, drift. This song that's going on now called The Drift, going to get us into a lot of trouble. I'm going to tell you guys how later. But I was reading my Bible last night. I'm a Bible man. Romans 14 says it is good neither to eat meat, drink wine, nor do anything by which your brother stumbles. God wants us to build people up, not break them down. Cain was rebellious in Genesis or Exodus. I don't remember now. And then when Cain murdered his brother, they call and say, Abel. Where is Abel? they called and said, where's Kane? And Kane said, am I my brother's keeper? So today's talk, and I'm asking all you who hear my voice, the congregation, the audience, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? One time I went to a party in Barbados playing Caribbean Champs Saturday night. We have tournament Sunday, but I went there. I saw Dale Parham dancing on the stage. That's a different story I'm going to talk. But I saw Barbados national representative Trevor Farley trying to get in. And they said the gate man would not let him in. He said, Trevor, you're a national representative. You have tournament tomorrow, I'm not going to let you in. I'm not going to let you in, Trevor Farley. And as, despite the fact that Jamaica have some big parties, Uptown Mondays, Dolly Sundays, Leon Bailey went to a party to do the very dance with the kiba called the drift. And in the YouTube, I saw Leon Bailey doing this dance. Leon Bailey can dance, but the dance take a lot of energy out of you. You have to, yeah. And I'm saying that Jamaica, it's time we become our brother's keeper. And it's time the security, the promoters of Dolly Sunday, Uptown Monday. If you see a national representative turn up and you know him have big match for Jamaica, be your brother's keeper and say, Leon, I'm sorry, you're not going to drift tonight. That's sports commentary. What say you?
Oh, the sports commentary is back, people. Like it never left.
The Simoes boy.
Simoes kicking in. Drift. Oh, that was a good one. My brother's keeper.
Yes.
Ask Kate, where is Abel? Kate is Abel, people. Do you remember the phone lines are open? 1-876-552-7406. And that's via WhatsApp only. I repeat again, 1-876-552-7406. Yeah.
Whoa. You know, Peter touched on some really good topics.
Yeah, I don't even know which one to start with.
But he have a point though, you know?
Yeah.
We should really protect them from themselves.
Yeah. So you say, you know the ball them have a match. You be like, no partying tonight, go home.
No drifting.
When they go in the party and spend big bucks and make everybody enjoy themselves.
Boy,
they might let them in. You know,
yeah. But I didn't know about that story with Trevor. I know Peter.
No, but I hear you in the story, but I hear you in the story.
Well, I was on the stage. I was on the stage. I was inside.
you're performing, but you didn't have much. You weren't on the.
I didn't have.
You traveled with the team, not on the team.
Yes, I traveled with the team.
You're the chef.
On the team. It was 2001, right?
Yeah.
During September 11th.
Yeah. On 9/11.
9/11, I should say. Yeah. I was there.
You're the chef. You went to the chef. You're the cook.
Well, yeah, I was helping out. I was more like a practice partner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was allowed.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah.
Good point. But you know, I have to tackle Peter as usual, you know. But Peter and the reggae girls thing. I would agree that they didn't, in terms of reaching up to the head, they never bounced the ball.
But even we saw it in at the World Cup.
They're very
and World Cup
defensive.
qualifiers, we're more of a defensive team and we don't create much chances.
Yeah.
We see where we get chances from, set pieces or long ball.
Yeah.
And even so, our top striker, Bunny Shaw, seems to be lost in the match most times. And even in yesterday's match, she seemed to be doing more defensive work than anything else.
Yeah. I think she's playing out of position.
And even so, I think the girls are technically sound with the ball. They can control the ball, they can pass the ball, they get the ball moving. I don't know why we're not creating more chances.
I guess.
And getting Bunny Shaw more involved up front. So where do you think the problem lies in getting more chances?
I think it's more like the strategy of the coach. I think he's more defensive.
But it's a defense win games, and everybody was on the regular girls train at the World Cup, qualified out to the round.
Game, but you have that transition.
Yeah.
You know, you have to know how to transition from the defense. To attack.
So it's work in progress then.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. And
so defensive we're sound, and now we need to get our offensive game where we get more chances in the game and more opportunities. Goes with matches.
Yeah, I think the midfielders, they're not that bad, in my opinion, but I think we're missing...
they're good. You mean not that bad, they're good.
We're missing one player. And for me, watching the girls yesterday, it was very exciting. It was very exciting. I was very pleased to see how the girls them knock the ball. A couple of times I said the midfielders them come for the ball. They weren't hiding from the ball. Unlike when I watch the reggae boys, there's no middle. I could say a system from the girls, in other words. So that's encouraging for me to see.
A more individual play from the reggae boys.
Yes.
But I don't like to compare the reggae girls with the reggae boys. But I know you want to go there and compare the girls.
Something. You see, so when you have something that's novel, when it's new, and you had something that has been there for years, you're going to have the natural comparison.
All right. So comparing the reggae girls with the reggae boys.
Yeah, so it's not a problem.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing from the girls is a system. And I see where the girls have control, they have touch. And trust me, when I say touch, they have great touch in the middle, and you can see you can see what they're trying to do. You know, so I have hope for them in the next, as I said before, in the next 7 to 8 years. I think the girls will take over football. You know, based on the trajectory, based on the trend that I'm seeing and the pattern, I think the girls will take over football from the men. Even after the match, I hear people screaming names. I didn't hear that at the reggae boys match.
They're screaming whisper name.
They're screaming, whisper, but they're screaming Bunny Shaw. They're screaming Blackwood. I hear
the attendance. I wasn't at the match, but tell us about the attendance.
After the match, the amount of people that stayed back.
To drift.
Yes.
To drift.
Yeah, that song was playing.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's a different atmosphere. And the stadium, you had more people in the stadium.
Than the reggae boys match?
Of course, yes. You had more people.
Nice.
And it was an exciting match. We got 2 love, but I am encouraged. I remember I'm a coach, and you have to look at trends and pattern. And when you can, it might not happen now, but you can see for the long term where the development. You can see the process.
There's going to be
when I watch the reggae boys, I don't see that process. All I'm seeing is long balls. I don't see anybody in the middle.
With the talent that the reggae boys have, and we're not producing, we're not getting enough goals.
I think it's overrated talent. It's overrated. I think it's overrated. I think these girls have way more touch than the men. We're comparing girls and girls.
I mean, we played on the same surface. Or the field better? Are the field better than?
And One Prime was there. One Prime was there. So One Prime is my weakness.
Yeah,
I was sitting right beside me.
I wasn't.
And One Prime was saying, "Yes, man, girls and play good." But my coach the coach.
So the coach was playing.
No, because of the strategy. The
strategy. Everything is going backwards. We're only playing in our half.
No, not backward. We need to press higher.
Press higher. Further up the pitch.
Further. We cannot play more like 3/4. You know, the last 1/3 we don't exist in the last third of the.
I think that's due to the coach's instruction.
I think so. I think so. I not only the coach.
So you guys were entertained, and the girls.
Of course. And I tell you, even when.
But I heard that I didn't watch a match. I was unable to watch a match. I had some engagements to take care of. That's why I wasn't at the match. But hearing from your side and reading reviews of the match, I heard that we were defensive and most of our position was in our half, and Bunny Shaw was dropping deep and only was noticeable on the defensive end, which she is the top striker. So
everybody is looking to Bunny Shaw, but what people don't realize, Bunny Shaw is not a skill pill. She's not that type of footballer. You know, everybody thinks she's a Walter boy. She's not Walter boy.
She's more of
having her dropping back. She's not even an Anandelo.
She's a Bunny Shaw.
Nowhere near that. She's like Holland. That's his name?
Yeah, Holland.
She's more like
somebody she needs service to the ball to just finish off.
Exactly my point. But she's playing out of position. She's trying to come back. She's trying to drop.
To get involved in the play. And
it's not going to work for her. She don't have that kind of touch. And I think she's overweight as well.
What was here? Can you say that?
I can't say that. I can't.
She's out of shape because I think I remember when Lionel Messi was over.
I can say that because that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Yes, I can say.
I remember one season Lionel Messi was kind of out of shape at the beginning of the season.
Yes.
And even certain other players, and then as the season progressed, they got into shape. So Eden Hazard for one. So it's not a take on females.
It's just
you have to be the pacifier here, you know. So
it's what you see, and the fact that she's coming for the ball. She can't manage all of that workload. She can't manage all of that workload. But
definitely, I mean, looking back from where female football was, say as recent as 10 years ago to where it is now, and looking forward to where I think it will be in 10 years. I think the girls can be a powerhouse in not in this region, but in the world. And I was once we get that offensive output going.
I watch Honduras play, Jamaica, the males, the Canadian team, the female team, way better in terms of structure and system.
Yeah.
So I am impressed with female football overall, not just Jamaica football, female football team, but the overall improvement of the female. Of course, I'm impressed. Again, I'm saying the girls knock maybe 7, 8, 9, 10 passes.
Yeah, but were they productive passes?
Yes, but we don't see that. We don't see that at all. But anyway, we're gonna go back to the football in just a minute. Right now, we have race car driver Fraser McConnel. Welcome to Primal Sports. You have an update to give us. I hear you're winning some.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Afternoon.
No, he's
making
a busy man.
Proud.
Yeah, man. So we have to tell the people them what you've been going on with, because we hear things. So that's why we carry on the show.
It's been very good. We just got back from Italy, Sardinia, from Extreme E. Round 8. We were able to win round 8 for Sir Lewis Hamilton's X44 Vita Carbon Racing team. Second win for the season. And just incredible. It's racing against the best guys in the world. And to go out there and represent, fly the Jamaica flag on such a international stage it brings me a lot of honor.
How many races you have left for the season?
For Extreme, I have 2 races left. And that's going to be in December. That's going to be in Chile. So coming up to the end of that. But then Nitro now, we haven't spoken since even the Nitro win. So Nitro Cross now is rebranded from Nitro Rallycross. And now the new owner is Dana White, who I'm sure you're familiar with.
The UFC.
So they're putting a lot of money into it to make sure it's gonna get to the stage that they believe it can get to. And just super happy to be on board with that as well.
Yeah, so in terms of the overall point standing, where are you?
Yeah.
Where are you positioned?
In the Extreme E. Is it
in Extreme E, we're now in 4th. But the wins do. We have had some rocky races in between those wins. A lot of stuff out of our control, which that's how it goes sometimes. But we've been able to show our pace in every race, and sometimes we lead in the race, and something can happen that's totally not the driver fault or not the team fault even. So a lot of bad luck. So I have to take them on the chin and just capitalize when things are working like we did this weekend.
So can you finish in that top 3 for before?
But the 2 races to go, are you close to that podium finish? The 2 races.
The target is 3rd. The target is 3rd. I mean, we can't have right now 1st and 2nd they've had some very clean runs. So hats off to them. They deserve it. But then 3rd spot is definitely up for grabs, and it can be motorsport is so unpredictable and ruthless. So no one knows. We could even finish 2nd. So we're gonna just go out there and keep our heads down and just stick to the game plan, trust the process, trust the mechanics and engineers, and just go out there and represent. Develop that momentum with 2 races to go. As I said, the sky's the limit, and I wish you the best. We finish off the season. So that's what's up next for you. The next immediate race is in Chile with Extreme E. No, that's in December, and then the immediate race next for me is in November 10 and 11. That's in Phoenix. That's round 4 and 5 of Nitro.
Okay, all right. So all the best in that, and I mean we'll keep it posted and keep eyes out and keep flying that flag high. And once news drop, we're gonna contact you and tell the people them what's going on, because you're out there doing big things and moving from strength to strength. So from the Primal Sports Decks, all the best. And I'm sure Jamaica's saying the same thing. All right, bless up, Fraser. All right,
keep doing big things. All right.
Yeah, man. That was Fraser McConnel taking the time out to come and give us a rundown of what's going on, because sometimes we mistrack these athletes and what they're going on in the season, and he said he had a couple rocky races, but still flying the flag high, and one over the weekend. Moving up the table to 4th place now, and with 2 races to go, I hope we can get that podium finish for this team.
The whole series getting bigger.
Yeah, getting bigger. Because Dana White himself with the Nitro and taking over. You soon start seeing him everywhere. And I mean, if we cover it from here now, we can't wait till it get big and we jump on.
Yeah, Fraser soon start, commercials and
see him on ESPN.
All kind of things.
Get him.
We can have him.
I want to see Seamus in I'm routine.
Of course.
Yeah, because Seamus in the controversy boss routine, because I'm fully active. From there he's back. Right. Yeah. So that was Fraser McConnel. Big up to Fraser McConnell.
Doing big things as usual. All right. Now it's we're gonna have a special segment. We had the passing of former great table tennis player.
Two-time national champion,
Courtney Wilson.
Passed on recently.
Yes. So we have a little segment that we're going to do a tribute to him. You know, the guys from his time will be here to discuss.
Are you counting me as from his time?
No,
I'm here as a
before.
journalist.
No, you were here before.
I'm here as a journalist. I'm not here as from that time.
No,
you're from that time.
Get the floor.
Get your facts straight. Get your facts straight.
No, denied. So we'll have well, Peter is a great table tennis player. So
undoubtedly.
Exactly. So
some people have doubts.
We'll have David Marshallek.
So David Marshallek, welcome to Primal Sports.
Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Yeah, man. We are expecting to be joined by Ian Spencer, who is also another colleague and almost inseparable from Courtney Wilson.
Yes.
But tell us, David, Courtney Wilson, as everybody knows, was national champion in the late 70s. 2 times, I think, 78 and perhaps 79. And David, you would have played with Courtney Wilson. So tell us about Courtney Wilson.
Well, Courtney, I believe the first final, Courtney beat me in the finals.
Was that 77 or 78, David?
Brethren, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
To be honest, I can't remember. But
Yes.
Courtney was a very good, very, very good player from the West. So the team from Mobile would come into Kingston and do their thing. Great guy. Of course, I must say condolences to the Wilson family and the people from Montego Bay. Courtney would be missed. I feel sad because I was trying to reach out to Courtney before he died and it just never happened. So I'm not pleased about that. But moving along, Courtney was a good player. And the team from Mobile was, it was good to have, when Kingston dominated, Kingston and St. Andrew dominated, it was nice to have other teams come in and participate and even dominate at the time. I don't know, you, Peter, you probably can tell me what's happening now. Is it just a Kingston operation now?
Yeah, it's gone pretty much back to that. It's pretty much gone back to a corporate era dominating table tennis. But tell us how it was for you as one of the town men to see this young upstart from St. James coming in and challenging for the titles.
Well, I mean, can I say we had the interaction of Courtney and Ian and the Mobile team was almost only national, because those guys never really came up to Kingston during the other tournaments. We'd see a contingency of them coming in and playing in national. So the interaction was not all that. I think I think at the time we had a league that were involved Mobile at the time. Cause you used to play Portland. Was Portland a part of the National League?
Yes, we used to play, but we were always eliminated early. The sport was when I came into the game, the only country teams that were of any substance were the St. James and perhaps St. Catherine.
Mm-hmm. But we classified St. Catherine as Kingston. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. I suppose.
They're close.
Yes.
No, because they played that in the clubs and stuff like that. Although they lived outside of Kingston, the club scene was they were a part of it.
Yes. Well, I was hoping to have Ian Spencer here to tell us, but what happened is that Courtney was an outstanding player for Cornwall College, and in those days, my school, Titchfield High School, that was our main rival for the All Ireland thing, and then we would play the winner of the city championships. So we at Titchfield from about third or fourth form would say these guys, Courtney Wilson and Ian Spencer, Fennell, you remember a guy named Fennell, and David McBean and Bruce Cormack. couple of those guys would come and we would always be neck and neck fighting for supremacy. But there was a huge gap between Courtney Wilson, Ian Spencer, and ourselves. But we beat them by numbers. So my school, Titchfield, used to beat Cornwall because we had 7 good players. They had 2 great players with 5 weaker players. So that's how we always won. But I mean, I remember Courtney, the great thing about him was that even back then, when he was not yet the national champion, he would always give me tips how to play, what I could do to improve and all this kind of thing. That's the one thing I remember about him. Him and Evan Williams. Evan Williams had that thing too as well. Like even though he would beat you up, he would also give you good advice on how to play. So that was one of the outstanding things about Courtney Wilson. But David, you and him also played in the national team.
That's correct. I had a trip. I believe I had a trip to Worlds with Courtney, and I remember Isle of Man. I think Courtney was on it, and we were fussing over the pork. Isle of Man is pure pork, you know.
Yeah.
And Randy Fagan was a part of that. And after day 3, when pizza came and pizza had pork on it, I would say, Randy, digging in. I'm gonna say, what's that, Randy? And he'll say, boy, survival.
Oh boy.
Those are good lads.
I'm going to use this one on Randy Fagan. So he wanted a piece of the salt thing.
Survival, man. But on a serious note, no. It is unfortunate that Courtney has passed. But we have to pose a question. The federations that we have now in sports, what are they doing for the players?
Yeah.
How are we taking care of the players?
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about money now, you know. This is just the care of being in touch, knowing what is happening with the players. And it's almost like a registry. We know Peter's in Kingston and how is Peter doing, or David, you know.
I could use some help. Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But you know, I'm being very serious now.
I'm serious.
I'm not seeing the that sort. I think netball might be up there where they'll have their own home now.
Yeah.
Track and field might have something going on for their athletes. But that's a different money thing because they're earning money.
Yeah.
We don't earn money in table tennis. You know, table tennis is a joy, a love for the sport. But I'd love to see us come together as a nation, that to say the sporting people come together and say, let us do something, have an insurance policy.
Yeah.
That we can say, boy, if something happens, we can take care of our own.
Well, David, you know, I always kept track of Courtney even after he stopped playing, you know, because I still have linkages with a couple of Cornwall old boys. You know, you remember Donovan James, and we were always connected long after we stopped competing. And so I've always kept track of Courtney. I lost track the last 2 or 3 years because I knew that he was having challenges after leaving the bank. But there's one memory of Courtney I wanted to share with everybody, with the world, because it really was a thing that him and we shared a memory. Courtney, as you know, was the best player in Jamaica around in the late 70s. He was one of the best players. And I was a up-and-coming under-17 player, lucky enough to play the men's rural finals of the Guineas and meet up Courtney Wilson. So I beat some St. Catherine guy, probably Virgo or Keaton Blake or something in the semis, and meet the great Courtney Wilson in the finals. So in those days, we played to 21 points. And we were 1-1. And this was the last game of the men's rural finals. And in those days, David, I don't know, you remember, I used to throw the serve way up in the air and then serve that ball and just curve and run away from the left-handers. So I'm playing Courtney Wilson. And guess what, David? I'm leading him 19-11 in the last game. And as a Titchfield boy, I started to think to myself, what will the headmaster say? or what will come in the newspapers after I beat Courtney Wilson. I wonder if Mr. Young is watching. Where the guys are. You know, am I going to shake his hand or gonna, you know, what am I gonna do when I beat Courtney Wilson? 1911, David. And so I start to lose points. 1912, 1913, 1914, until it reached 19 all. And I was so stiff, I couldn't even swing. I was tight like a board. And then Courtney Wilson beat me 21-19, David Marshallek. I lost how much point that? 10 straight points from 1911 against Courtney Wilson. And that taught me a lesson about table tennis. It made me into the calculating killer that I am now, David. David, nowadays, I don't king teeth in table tennis. I kick out teeth, mostly because of that match.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was my Courtney Wilson memory. I can't forget that, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm just sitting here listening to all these great stories. And I mean, I don't know him personally, but I always hear stories from back in the day and, you know, the names and the likes of, I said, Courtney Wilson, which I heard he was a commanding left-hander. Yes. And I mean, somewhat of a controlling
He was
player.
very balanced. Yeah, and you know, the funny thing is, he was very tight. He didn't give you the ball to attack. He kept the ball very tight at the table. And he had a very powerful opening left hand, opening topspin. And once he opened, he would just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. Yeah. You know, Dr. Green, you remember Robert Green, David, who played in that era, was very high level in that era, pointed out to me, we never once saw Courtney off balance. Yeah. I don't remember ever seeing him fall to the ground or make a rush shot. That's my recollection of him. He had very good balance. You agree, David?
That is correct. He was a very balanced player, in command of what he was doing.
Yeah. Did you play Caribbean with him? I think he played a couple of Caribbean championships.
I believe. You know, Peter, you're putting me on spot now.
Well, it's a long time. Anyway, David, thanks for coming on, and we will talk some more. And I'd also like to add my voice to yours and give my condolences to the Cornwall College family, the St. James family, and the family of Courtney Wilson. You know, here from Primal, we hope we did justice to the man. Ian Spencer, I'll catch up with you later on. But thank you for coming on, David.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks. So I think next we have Froggy.
Froggy in 5.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave now, and Froggy's gonna give us his 5. Hopefully, we're going to talk some reggae girls, eh?
One prime.
Please be fair.
Yeah. Well, you know, I want to hear what one prime of a sec, because I wasn't there at the match yesterday.
One prime is your time. Froggy in 5.
I know I'm not going to talk about the reggae girls right now. I have another pressing matter, man. I want to know, is that a problem or is a problem? Oh. So, recently, you know, schoolboy football is back. And we had a doubleheader at the stadium with Jamaica College and Tivoli and another school, Caribbean and... don't remember the other school name. However, Jamaica College fielded a goalkeeper, which was ineligible. Goalkeeper can't play. And it didn't come out until afterwards. So, you know, they deducted 3 points, gave Tivoli the points, gave them 3 goals, and now it's a big hullabaloo. What I'm saying, too often this has been happening in schoolboy football, and not just schoolboy football, also in track and field as well. How is it that you have a player, you know the player can't play, but yet still the player is playing? How can you register a player?
How can you allow registration for the player?
It's not ISA register the player, it's a school.
How can the player be registered under ISA to play, and the school, knowing that he cannot play, still go ahead and register the player?
Do you think that the school knows he can play? Well, that's a matter of thinking that they know. But I think it's a double error, though.
It is a double error.
Not only on the school, but on the governing body, which is ISA.
What I have learned that happened was that certain information was not given to ISA about.
Certain information was withheld.
What was held, so he was able to
register. So they know what they're doing.
Exactly. And I'm saying this is not the first time this so-called school.
You can name the school. I mean,
Jamaica College is not the first time they've been caught up in some mystery surrounding players. Athletes not registered properly. You know, in the track and field atmosphere, the 4x800 in champs.
Yeah.
Putting a player that wasn't eligible.
Yeah.
And they were also banned a couple years for the same thing again. So it's not the first time they're doing it. I don't think it will be the last because rules are meant to be broken, you know, as far as ridiculous as it may sound, rules are meant to be broken. And they are going to be finding loopholes to do it. And I'm saying there must be a way ISA can clamp down on this. It has to stop. I have one theory, and I hope it can work. When it comes to schoolboy football, it's kind of harsh to have a schoolboy sit out 1 full year, goalkeeper or not, because either he's transferred from a school or he's leaving from a club. He wasn't in any form of school per se. It's hard to have him sit down for a year not doing nothing, just training. So I'm saying, if he's at the Costa Cup, transfer it to Manning Cup or vice versa, you may not allow him to play the premier competition, which is the Costa Cup or Manning Cup. But Ben Francis Cup or Walker Cup, you can squeeze him in, make him play the cup competition then. The Flow Cup.
So you're saying he can't play the premier
one, but he can play the local
how about
secondary ones. And allow him the chance to even show him talent, because to have him sitting down for a year not doing nothing, it's kind of hard. And even in track and field, if it's
so show him talent, why can't show him talent in Interfarm? Why it have to be at the representing the school?
Still, you transfer from one school to represent the school.
So why bar him from one event in the schoolboy competition and not yet let him compete in other events in the schoolboy competition?
Because Manning Cup is a premier competition.
I mean,
we're still a secondary competition.
But Flow Cup gives that cup gives the money.
Yeah, I know, but at the same point, you still want that. You don't want the
I'm just saying, if you're
sitting
sitting out a
year,
year, sit out a year, or don't make him sit out a year.
Can
Is that
play the
they change the
secondary.
rule? If you transfer from the school, why not just let him play? Since
Play
he's
the
transfer,
secondary competition.
because
Leave
you
the
have
premier
X amount of years in high school, so I mean it's limited. So if
you
you're going to let him
we
play,
can do away with the rule, but I am not for an athlete not being able to play or take part in any sporting event just because he's leaving from one school to another.
in the case at hand,
But in the case at hand, I think the rule should stand, and I think the punishment was a little bit of a model cuddling, so to speak. It was a slap on the wrist. It was just a slap on the wrist. See,
Tell us what's the punishment?
the
Tell us
punishment is a
was-
3-year probation and deducting 3
what
points.
does that mean?
a 3-year
Probation.
For 3 years, they'll be watched, they'll be scrutinized for any
So
transfers
is
they're
that
doing.
punishment?
It's not a punishment.
That's my point. I'm
It's
trying
that's-
to...
that's- it's
they
model
lost the 3
cuddling.
points in the match and they got a thrill of loss on paper. So instead of winning the match, the 3 points were
Okay.
And they
taken
lose
back,
3 goals,
and
and
then
at
they
the same
lose 3
time,
points,
they
and then
give
they
them
lose
3-year probation. And probation is nothing.
So the match result is
okay.
3 love to the next school.
Yeah.
So they didn't get the victory. So do you think that's a fair
No, it's not fair.
punishment?
What instances of this in the past? Yes.
Yeah.
And what was the punishment?
Same.
Being banned from the competition.
From the
entirely,
competition.
Camperdown.
I think so.
Being one of
but
the
I think it was a different
different
but
scenario,
even
different
case.
different case.
But even with just it was
Just
last
still
year,
like-
2 years ago, Mona
Yeah, Mona
Walker
was,
Cup,
yeah, the
and they were kicked out of the
player.
Walker Cup because
The
of a
fee,
red card.
Mm.
Carded offense. This is not an ineligible player
So
in
why is
terms of
JC being
transfer.
allowed to get away with this again? Is because they're traditional school? That's what you think?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because probation for me,
Probably it's nothing.
that's nothing. Because you I think it's a deliberate act.
But
But then
even
again,
so,
why would
before
you,
the act, how can he reach that far that an ineligible player is on the field?
Yeah,
Remember
I'm
now-
actually-
I think that we need to formulate a system where even the referees are involved. There's a match sheet before there are player names. ISA register the school put up. I mean, we
like
need to
I
create
said-
a system where there's no loopholes, where this keep repeating itself. Why is this keep whether
Because
it's on
they're
the school,
finding the loopholes.
whether it's on ISA, whether I mean,
So I say, is that a problem or is that it's a problem?
Let me
I mean,
at the highest level in terms of football administration in Jamaica, we see where the reggae girls they didn't get the kit on time. Knowingly, you understand, knowing that you're coming up to a big Olympic qualification. So that's supposed to answer your question.
Yeah.
I think everything here is run like a party shop kind of thing.
Party expensive,
And ISA is one of those organizations. In my, well,
and it
we
comes
see
back
from
to our
time
point.
time,
And it comes down to
It's
our
a
point.
loophole.
Jamaica is not a sporting country. We just love sports.
we're not organized.
We're not
So it-
organized.
they found a
So it's an
loophole.
organization.
Yeah, because what you say now, how can
You register the player.
when you're supposed to do a review, when you get the registration, you're supposed to do a review. ISA supposed to do a review. Is this player legal? Is this
Even the school should do a review.
fine? The school don't.
Yeah, the school should do it
try to
too.
cheat. right? But Issa, you're the head.
Yeah.
You're the one who's supposed to ensure that everything here is correct.
Is he coming from? I don't.
And
think
who
he's
does
coming-
Issa respond to? Who does Issa answer to?
But I
Seeing
don't-
that the fault was at Issa.
I don't think
somebody
he's
at
coming
Issa
from a high school. you know.
that overlook that there's an ineligible player on the sheet. Because I'm sure you just don't take up some random player and put in the goal. That player must have been training with you. That player must have known what it takes place. And I'm sure the rule.
And that player's supposed to know.
The coach supposed to know too. The school supposed to know.
School know.
Issa supposed to know.
And you
So
get
how
away
it
with a
reach you?
Probation. Exactly my point, because I think he's coming from Mount Pleasant.
Wow.
He was
Anyway.
goalkeeping in the Premier League.
What, Froggy? Yeah.
But it just goes to show that
Yeah.
organization and all, not just with Issa, not just with schoolboy football.
And I could excuse Mona with the red card issue because they played in a cup and then they played in a different cup. So maybe being a young school at that level, you probably can say,
Think that,
maybe
you're
coach,
abandoned a match
they
for
didn't
that.
know that Walker Cup, the card in Walker Cup will also carry
Carry
over
over
in the
into
Manning
Cup,
Cup.
yeah.
So we could understand with Mona, but JC is a powerhouse football traditional school for decades upon decades now.
And you know what it takes to feel an eligible player.
Let me tell you something, all football.
Well, it was an oversight? You think it was an
wasn't an
oversight?
oversight. I think it's a deliberate
I'm trying
act.
to understand this.
They
because I'm
purposely
saying,
did it.
Did you think you was going to get away with it? All the young footballers know each other.
Yeah.
You know each other.
Yeah.
So if I'm playing, I'm saying, I just come from that school. Why am I play this year? I'm going to come play with the coach. Well,
And even so, would they want to get away with it? Is it the case what they did know or they know?
I didn't know that them can do anything.
No, I think they knew. They found the loophole, and it was a look at. They found the loophole,
There's
and
no
they know that
loophole.
there's no
It's
real.
illegal.
They know that there's no real repercussions for it,
Oh,
so they
okay.
can get.
They knew.
They knew about it.
They knew that they would have, no matter what
We're
happened,
gonna
they
be
would
a
have
stop on
escaped the
everything.
charge.
Yes, and they can do away with 3
Why?
points.
But
or
why
whatever.
risk all of that for one player, one goalkeeper?
point.
Why risk it?
He's a
I
national
don't think they know.
representative. He's under 17 national representative.
He's a national under 17 representative?
Yeah,
King,
Coming from a different.
he's coming from Mount Pleasant Academy, the Premier League.
Kid, you know, in modern days now, everybody know everything
Yeah.
in terms of the transfer when you have to sit out a year because it's a big thing.
And him being a national representative, it's a new.
Anyway,
So how it reached that far?
It's a new.
Party shop.
We have to wrap up this segment.
I mean-
we know what it is. We know what it is.
Yeah, but Fragging 5. Yeah,
Right
that was very informative because
Yes.
you know what I mean?
Yes, and people remember that today's episode is sponsored by CMOS Organic. You know, you can check it out on the website cmosorgs.com.
Yeah.
All right, you know, it helped with everything. You know, as you hear the controversial boss,
man.
he was very chirpy.
Yeah,
This
pep
evening,
in him
had
step.
had a full dose.
All the
of
controversies come
CMOS.
again.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
thinking
man.
about going back is Afro. Just because of the Simoes, I tell you. But yeah, man, it's a great product, and I mean, definitely check it out, and you guys should try it.
Yes.
And give us your reviews in the
And our first sponsor.
yeah.
Our first sponsor.
Yeah.
And I know you guys look forward to hearing us each and every Saturday.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just support the product. Go check it out. It's good for the health, you know.
Trust
And
me.
as Kane
I've
said,
had it before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as Kane said, right now,
Back in my national days, you know.
we're drinking a lot of plastic.
I'm still having it. Yeah. Too much inorganic stuff in our
Yes.
system. We need to get more to the roots.
Go back to the,
You know,
to
I'm not trying to be
natural
a
and
Rasta
nature.
man. I'm going to Island man and eat pork now, but yeah.
Survival,
Hey,
survival.
Randy, hey, Randy Fagan, we have a talk.
Survival.
Yeah.
Uncle Randy, we're going to have a talk about that one.
Yeah, that was way back in the day, though. That was,
70s,
he's probably a
like,
young Rasta back
a
then.
young Rasta.
Yeah. A young dread, I should say. But yeah.
Okay,
But you have
okay.
to survive, though.
Yes,
no matter
yes,
what.
the man same have to survive.
You have to
know?
survive.
I survive. man.
But yeah, we had a jam-packed show today. And I mean, you know, we have to give a big up and give thanks to all the persons we have interviewed, all the persons that are listening, but a special thank you to Rene Simoes taking the time out of his busy schedule to come and give us insight of his life and, you know, what he went through with the Reggae Boys and what he's going on with now. Just his whole upbringing and in and around the sport of football. And Rene Simoes is a legend when it comes to
Of course.
football in Jamaica. If you don't know the name Rene Simoes, and it associated to football. Because I mean him getting a medal there in Brazil for his work that
Should have
he's...
a museum for all the greats that, you know, 'cause this man transformed football.
Yeah, man. And
The
take us to
culture of football.
my most memorable sporting moment is Reggae Boys qualifying
And
for the
you're a
World Cup
four-time
national
back to
champion.
back national champion. And
Reggae Boys,
qualification
God.
for
World
Reggae
Cup.
Boys.
As an 11-year-old.
Top everything.
Oh, gosh.
Just to show you.
Yeah, that's
Just to
one of
show
the
you.
most memorable sporting moments.
Man, even say one of the nationals.
Not even
the
one of-
first one and they
yeah,
beat
that
Peter
probably
up by.
finished.
Hold on, the first one when they beat Peter up by YMC.
Yeah.
Hold on, now, someone have to bring it up because I was there
No,
when,
man.
when Peter had
you have to
match
pass
point
the
in the,
baton.
in the sixth set.
No, he didn't have
Okay.
match point. No, I was up 3-love. He came back 3-2.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
Sorry,
he-
but
no,
him come
he-
back.
him don't
They
get
beat
no
him-
match
it's
point.
4-2,
4-2. Yeah, man, I had to
Okay.
close it off
But
because
him had one ma-
he was
different tournament.
closing in, but
Yes,
you know,
yes.
I think, yeah.
But after winning your first nationals, and you know how big of a moment
No, I didn't-
that
I
was,
didn't push for
and
upset.
the Rene Simoes moment in terms of what he
That
did.
was my,
Props.
sad to say, to Peter, that was my most memorable nationals anyway.
Oh.
No, because that was a very memorable one. But
The first
the
one.
second was more memorable because of the passing of my
Circumstance. Yes, I
grandfather
remember
and
that one.
my family actually coming to watch me play and going up against one of my big rivals in Joseph that
And it
I've
was
never
a-
beat before in a
it was a
tournament.
stacked field too, you
It
know.
was, it was a stacked field.
Yeah,
About
yes.
7 national champions probably played that tournament. And I mean, as I said, the family coming. So that was probably one of my most memorable moments. But Reggae Boys qualified World Cup. This is not about me.
Yes.
That was the most memorable sporting moment I can remember in my career of watching sports in Jamaica.
Of course.
So I want to big up Rene Simoes again for taking the time out for coming. I mean, Randy Phillips, Tennis Jamaica, representing us during the Davis Cup, giving us a rundown on what went down in Lebanon. Big up again, taking the time out. I mean, he's probably his 5th time now on the show.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if we call him up again, he'll come on the show. So he's part of the primal team, I should say. And I wish him all the best coming up against Barbados later on in the year. Fraser McConnel giving us a quick rundown of how his weekend went, winning his E series, the second win of the series, and Extreme E closing in on the podium finish. And I wish him all the best for the rest of the season. I mean, again, he's probably 3rd time on the show, one of our favorite guests as well. So big up the controversy, boss.
And
David Marshallek.
And the little tribute to Courtney
Wilson,
Wilson. David Marshallek and as Peter sharing stories about one of table tennis greats. David said something about remembering the legends, having something put in place by the organizer, the sporting bodies to remember all the past players and even current players. Health is a big thing these days. So he made a good point that we need to have something where we can keep track and of a lot of the former players that passed through and help to put Jamaica name on the map in terms of sports.
Definitely. Legends.
We need a museum. I think we need a museum. We have a hall of fame, in different sports.
Because I say you have to connect the past with the present and in the future.
The youngsters them can see history.
Yeah, I know.
And know where we're coming from and
who paved the way.
Exactly. Exactly.
I want to pick up the controversial boss. He's back. Because that's what's coming to us. I mean, electric as usual. And Froggy in 5 again.
Froggy giving us a little rundown at the Manning Cup. Boy,
Issa, as you say, is a problem or is a problem?
Is a problem.
Is a problem. I tell you what.
Is a problem.
I got that one. I actually got that one. So again, I have to big up the Fit FM, 96.7 listeners out there in Trelawney. I mean, always with us. Again, Primal 4K.
Primal 4K. That means saying that we need to come on the chat, and for sure next week we're gonna pay more attention to it.
Chat and
a lot
answer
of them
questions.
always have questions for the guests, so we're gonna kind of filter you guys in for next week. We have a lot doing sometimes.
And Facebook. I mean, YouTube. All over the world.
Yes. And before we close off the show, we have to really big up our sponsor.
Yeah, definitely.
And she the CEO
Anonymous.
is here.
Anonymous.
We're gonna leave her at that, but
in the audience.
But Simoes
Organics. Like to work in the shadows.
Yes. Simoes Organics is as we know it as Irish Moss here in Jamaica, and the site that you can go on is cmos.org.
And it's not just a fake promo, people. The product is actually good and it works. It's good for you. It's healthy.
Straight out to the sea. Anything from the sea is good.
I'm not so sure about that, but this CMOS is you can research it. CMOS is definitely.
Products are not normally real stuff, good stuff for
natural,
nature for the body. We must always eat.
Cleanse out the system.
Before we go, we must always eat food that's far away from us. we mustn't eat things that's on land.
Survival.
No, the healthiest.
I know. I think we need another show for this. That's a different show. What's going on here? My God, fill us up.
All right, guys. Thank you. We're gonna have to wrap up the same time, same place next week. I'm your host, Dale.
I'm Kane the Schwab Watson.
O'Neal One Prime.
Up next, we have DJ Teach them. All right. Big up from the Primal Sports X. One love and peace.